It's the Zach Sang Show. Zach Sang Show.
Hello.
Oh.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
How you doing?
That's right. Dude, you remember? Anon.
Garrett. Oh,
Nice to meet you.
Great to meet you. Yeah.
Zach. Nash, thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Zach Sang Show. Nash is here. Hello.
I'm doing great. How you? I'm very happy to be here. I just got a little debrief, but I've actually heard of you before. I did my research. I always figure out like, oh, this is his Twitter and then all things. And so you've been in the game for a minute, and I really like the stuff you got going on. Man. The logo. I sat here. Well, because you weren't here. You weren't here when I got here, so I was looking at the logo, and I'm a big fan of like logos.
Okay.
Because I like graphic design. That's what I wanted to do before I did music. So I was like, oh, that's nice. Like you got like. You're talking to the people over there.
That's exactly
it.
Like,
yeah.
And eventually we're going to, for all of the things that we do, the speech bubble is going to be like the standalone logo that kind of represents,
That's very cool. Yeah.
Same page.
Absolutely. Like me for the sunglasses, I have the sunnies that are the like, no matter what, we'll always have the little circles on whatever.
I love it.
So it'll be like, And
how cool. Like when you see those sunglasses, like where'd you get introduced to that pair of sunglasses?
Such a weird story. So like I used to be a Ray-Ban guy, like the Wayfarers when that was a cool thing. And then I was in my friend's car and he had a silver pair of these exactly. And I was like, these are weird. And he was like, I'm never going to wear these. Like he has a very like iconic voice. So if you don't know Jamil, whatever, but he was like, I'm never going to wear these glasses. And I was like, well, I'll take them then. And they sat in my bathroom drawer for forever. And one day my Ray-Bans broke and I had no sunnies and I was going to the beach. I went through my drawer and I was like, oh, these weird future sunglasses I can wear, and I put them on, and it just became the thing. Everybody's like, those look great. And I was like, oh, okay, so. And
everything changed forever.
Right, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, like, those are the sunglasses that I wish could work on my face.
Yeah, they're tough.
But they don't. I look ridiculous because they're tiny.
So what do you rock?
Oh, I mean, I'm still on, like, what do I have? Like,
the round Ray-Bans.
I have, like, a more rounder Ray-Ban.
That's not bad.
I have a big face. It needs to be covered, you know?
Me too, though. Like, that's a big thing for me is I have, like, a huge forehead.
Yeah?
So, like, I need, like, so, like,
you can't tell.
Yeah, well, the hat kind of helps, but, like, and that's where the hair goes down, too. I'm not self-conscious about it or anything, but, no, yeah, so the Circle Sunnies just worked, and I was like, okay, I'll rock them.
I like how you're saying sunnies. I might adopt that. That's a
Sunnies is a good word.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I say sunnies all the time,
no,
by the way.
No, you don't.
Literally all the time. He doesn't listen to a word I say.
I've literally sat in a room with you for a year and a half, and I've never heard you say that.
She's not wearing sunnies in here.
I guess that's the problem. I hate you, but I love you.
Don't even have them on them. Yeah, well, that is the song, isn't it?
Here's the deal. Hold on, Nash. Keith did this for a second time.
Okay.
I'm going to be real with you. It's the second interview that I've done this.
Oh my God.
They've changed the cover of my microphone.
Okay.
The people I work with they want my brain, like they want me to go crazy.
Okay.
And I have a very big attention for detail. And if something changes, I know all about it and I know instantly.
Yeah.
They flipped my microphone flag,
wow.
my microphone, this thing.
Yeah, what's it called? The speech.
This pop screen or something?
Yeah, the pop screen, yeah.
Just to throw me off. Somebody's doing it here. It's one of you people. I'll find out eventually. Hold on.
Oh my God, I cannot believe we're doing this.
Zach, nobody cares enough to mess with you.
I do. I care. No,
So
you know what?
Was it you?
No, it wasn't me, but I do care that you're bothered by it because I would be bothered by things like that too.
Thank you.
Yeah, it drives me
you.
crazy. One time I had my whole studio done up in Christmas lights and it was coming to Christmas time and my dad just took them down for the tree. And I was like, could you not just ask me before you did that in the least? And he's like, well, you repurposed our lights for your studio. I was like, no, Dad, that's not how it works. You asked me. They are now mine because I took the time to put them up. So I appreciate the...
Yes, I've stolen the lights from you, but I dedicated time in making them look pretty, thereby making them my own. I like that.
Exactly. When you make something beautiful, it becomes your own. So I made the studio my own, and then he just was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take them back." Not cool. So I appreciate your issue with that.
Thank you for caring.
Absolutely.
I hate you, but I love you.
I hate you. I love you. Yeah.
Come on, let's soak in this song for a second. #1 in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
It's going. I'm telling you, it's getting legs here in the States, even more than it already has in the CHR world. It's going to skyrocket. I mean, like, have you wrapped your mind around that whole thing yet?
Yeah, it's really cool. Like the coolest thing is that the core people that were there with me at the beginning are still rocking with me, even though there's all this attention on the song and all my music, because it's a couple of my favorite things are that people are finding the song and now finding the rest of my music, because I have these 3 EPs out called You, Me, and Us, which are like the journey through a breakup. and then finding yourself and then finding something new. And along making that process, I made a song called I Hate You, I Love You that just particularly made a lot of people feel like they weren't alone in that feeling. But I think that once people are sourcing back, they're like, wow, there's all of this music here that really tacks into different emotions that I have. Because my thing is I want to make a song for every feeling. So with I Hate You, I Love You, that one is just one that a lot of people were like, yo, I agree with this.
Yeah.
And I think that like is kind of what has driven it to such a high success rate so rapidly. And I try not to even think about that, because if I did, then I would probably chill a lot more often than I do right now. Because like, you know, they sent me the ARIA plaque and everything, which is pretty cool.
Cool.
It's in the shape of Australia, which is so sick. It has a 1 on it. Like,
hell yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. But
okay, the 3 Ps,
Yeah.
the stages of essentially a relationship, right?
A breakup. Yeah, so I was going through a breakup, so I was like, that one's you. Like, and then me is like, okay, I'm over that now. I'm going to find myself or as best I can with the help of my friends. And then us was like duets through and through was the idea.
How do you tap into that side of you?
Good question.
Like what is that process like when something happens to you? Where does your mind go? How do you how do you process? What's the first thing that you do?
Yeah. So growing up, my dad was very insistent upon the idea that if I was in a position where I was able to talk about how I felt, I wouldn't be like put down for it. And so instead of getting in an argument or fighting with somebody or getting upset or crying about it and things like that, like those are all fine emotions to have.
Yeah.
But at the end of all of that, you have to be able to communicate how you feel. So the first thing I do when I feel anything is I write it down on paper and I just free write as much of it as I can to get it out of me, because I don't want it in here anymore.
Yeah.
I want it somewhere else so that I can look at it and either say, wow, I'm being ridiculous. I'm glad that I see this now. Or, oh, this is something that like is actually affecting me in my day-to-day life. And if the feeling doesn't seem to leave my body after I write it down, then I usually take it to the next step of like turning that into a song.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an important thing to kind of breed in your child, to communicate your feelings from an early age. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, obviously it comes in handy if you're looking to be a songwriter
Right.
and create music that, you know, connects moments in my life to other people's moments in theirs. You know what I mean? And,
Totally.
But just like in general, I mean, what an important thing to know how to do.
Yeah, no, I can't thank him enough for it. It's like, it's such an important thing in the development of me as a human being that my dad was like, yo, just talk about it. Just like, let me know how you feel. There's no point in getting upset if you can just communicate it. So that's what I always did. And yeah, my dad's awesome.
And so do you feel like making music and songs, is that your best way to communicate your feelings?
It seems to be what I found is the best way to I started as a DJ. So initially it like, I would have gigs all the time, so my DJ sets would reflect kind of how I felt, because you either play like more like turn up songs if you're like wanting to just like rage and let go of whatever, and then I kind of took all of the knowledge from those sets I was doing and what works with people and what connects with people versus songs that don't, and then I kind of compiled that knowledge with this ability I have to express how I feel in very simple terminology, because I've been doing it for such a long time.
Wow.
Yeah, so...
Do you care about what a hit song sounds like, or do you just care about getting your feelings out there and making a beautiful song?
Yeah, the only inclination that I had towards I Hate You, I Love You being a particularly beautiful song and something that would really connect with people was I went inside after... So I make all my music in my garage, and so I cut the record and I put it out, because usually I have a do it and drop it mentality, which is similar to like what I've learned is what they do in the app world. And then you update it later if there's issues. And the beautiful thing about SoundCloud is that you can just re-upload a version if the bass is too loud or whatever. So I cut the verse on it, I put it out, and then I said, I mixed it and everything. I went inside and I said to my mom, I woke my mom up. I was like, yo, Mom, I just put out like my biggest song ever. And she was like, okay, honey, go back to bed. And she didn't even know that I've been like out, because I'll be out there like till like 2 or 3 if I'm really on a roll.
Yeah.
And then when I woke up, it was starting to get all this attention and people were really loving it. And then it just really grew rapidly over the course of the next couple of weeks. So
was SoundCloud your biggest way to get out there? Yeah, right?
Yeah, it was. Absolutely.
What a game changer that was for the music industry.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like it's crazy, because the advice that I give to fellow musicians is not advice I could give to anybody else in any other career path. Like
no.
if you want to do accounting or whatever, you can't just be like, well, I'm going to upload my books that I've done to this website or whatever, and people will respect my accounting ability. Like,
judge me based on my adding and subtracting.
No, totally. So yeah, so like my whole thing with musicians is like, if you like making music, record it on your iPhone or whatever and upload the song to SoundCloud, and if people like it, great. If people don't react to it, fine, make another one, keep doing it. You can upload endlessly and it just keeps rolling like that. It's such a beautiful system.
When you started on SoundCloud and you were making music, what was your gauge for a good song? How did you judge a song? How'd you know, okay, this is good, I'm gonna upload this one?
Yeah, it's songs that make people when you're watching them, I watch people's faces when I play them new songs. Yeah. And so it's songs that people react in a way where I can tell it's hitting them like just below their ribs and just above their stomach. There's this sensation that people get from their, like, I think that's the solar plexus is the term for that area, where you can just see it's not like air getting taken out of them, because no song should ever do that to you unless there's like so much bass that you can't breathe. But like the feeling of like, wow, it's just like it's hard to explain, but it's this feeling that I see people have when they hear something that really hits them, where their mind goes somewhere that they relate to this moment that I'm talking about directly, because they've also been there too in a way.
So has that mentality changed from the first song you made to the songs you're creating today, or has it always been that same gauge?
It's always the same gauge. It's just some of those things, some songs hit people in a different place. Yeah. So like I have songs that make people want to dance and move and have a good time. I have songs that hit people right there. I have songs that make people want to go on a night drive. I have songs that make people want to walk somewhere and go into the park or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you never know what songs are going to make people want to do, but as long as it's encouraging them to do something, and there's a time and a place for every song that I make, then that's kind of the goal. So like Hate You, Love You, I Hate You, I Love You is like kind of like an introspective moment where you're by yourself or you're whatever. Then there's other songs like, there's a song I have, I don't know if I can swear, but it's like,
you can.
F Me Up. That's like, it's like a party song, or there's things all over the place. You Just Can't Be Replaced is a song for like a couple that is going through something, but they want to get back together and they want to figure it out. So there's all these different songs, and I kind of try and make theme music for the moment that people are living versus focus on like, this is a hit.
But it starts with your life, right? Because if you're living it, this is a moment that you've gone through, you know that others are going through those same moments.
Totally. Ideally.
Well, usually.
Yeah. I try and kind of nail those things.
How much self-exploration do you do?
A lot.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to really analyze things that you go through in life.
Yeah, it's super important to be alone. Like that's one of the biggest things. Is one of my taglines of life is like, your phone, you're better off alone, because like the longer you're looking down, the less you're looking up and thinking your own thoughts, and you're letting like whatever you're reading or whatever guide your thought process. So I do a lot of like self-introspection and like long drives, and I try to be alone as much as possible. And as that gets harder and harder with interviews and studio sessions and stuff like that, I very specifically in my calendar like designate time where I am to be alone and like just think and really ask myself like, how do I feel? It's so important, because if you lose sight of how you feel and you just let everybody else around you start to gauge how you feel or tell you how you should feel, then you're not yourself anymore.
Yes.
So
wow.
Yeah.
Dan's done a lot of research on you. I hear he's a fan.
Well, no, I've been listening to a lot of your music lately.
Thanks, man.
And I've noticed that your lyrics are like, they're very simple and easy to understand. There doesn't seem like there's any like hidden messages. Do you write like that on purpose?
Yeah. I don't want to make anything. I know that there's songwriters that write really beautiful compositions of things that there's people that write in ways that I could never even fathom being able to write, like metaphors and deep connects, James Blake level type of stuff, where it's just like, what, or Barney Vare and stuff like that, where it's like, wow, like he really went there. Like, I have no idea what that means, but it's sick. And like,
but I always feel like when I question that, I kind of lose a little I feel like I'm not getting the most impact out of a song.
Well, I think that for artists like that, they're more singing how they exactly feel, but not in word form. It's more just like whatever comes out, because that's how they express themselves. And I'm not passing judgment on that. It's just, for me, when I express myself, like I said, like from my dad, it's like, feelings fade when people change. I stayed the same. You played your games. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm not trying to do anything crazy. And a lot of the times too, the songs I make are directed at very specific people in my life, and I make them with the hope of thinking like, if you won't listen to me, maybe like 1 million people will.
Yeah. Wow.
So like that's where I'm coming from most of the time when I make a song. That's like, when I say you, it's usually about somebody there's multiple people I've written songs about, but it's about them and hoping that they'll hear it because they weren't listening to me. So I felt the need to like make a song about it.
What is it like to be in a relationship with you? Somebody who has this deep of thought, somebody who needs this much alone time, who can look at feelings and situations and tear them apart and analyze them.
Yeah.
Is it more complicated?
I think you just need to be involved with a very understanding person who looks at you every day and is like, hopefully they say, hey, I like you because I like you, and all the things that come with that. You know, I'm never gonna be somebody that like holds my feelings in. If I feel the need to like discuss something, it's gonna be discussed to a point of probably annoyance occasionally. But
of course.
But it's important to me that not only people around me know how I feel, but people around me understand why I feel how I feel. So I'm not ever just gonna say I'm upset right now. I'm gonna say I'm upset because you left the dishes on the counter and now it kind of smells bad and I wanted to eat pizza right now and there's no plate for me to use, and so why did you do that? So that's kind of, it's not a nightmare. I know how to control it. If I'm in I'm terrible in social situations. I'm the worst because I like being alone so much that like I try and find ways of doing that without making other people feel like I'm ignoring them. But yeah, to be in a relationship with me is probably a very tricky line to walk, and I don't what did Kanye said one time, like, my greatest regret in life is not being able to see myself perform live. So I guess maybe my greatest regret in life is to not date myself, so I don't know the answer to that question.
What's your longest relationship? How long have you been in one?
3 years.
That's pretty long, though.
Yeah.
So you found someone who understood a little bit.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened there.
I hate you, I love you.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What kind of music do you think you make? Is it rap, pop,
Good question. Well, I think if you had to put it in some kind of bucket, I would put it in not a bucket. Why put it there? It's like that game at the fair where you like throw a wiffle ball and it like kind of lands in one of the cups but never really does. So I would say it's somewhere between like all hip hop. Like there's elements of everything in everything I make because I just make music based on stuff that I like. So if I say, hey, I like this, then I'll make it. But because of this issue, I put a tag on it, which is just called Happy Sad. And I write that out by doing a smiley face with eyes on both sides, like a colon, parentheses, colon. So it's Happy Sad. And that's my label, and that's everything that I do. So like the genre of the music. And all the songs on SoundCloud, you'll see Happy Sad on the tag little thing. So because it's like I have little rules that go with the Happy Sad sound, but that's kind of what the bucket is that I've created, and hopefully other people. I look up a lot to like an Odd Future model where like, what is Tyler the Creator? He's not I wouldn't call him a rapper. That'd be almost like insulting. You know what I mean? Because he's so next level. So like, he made Odd Future and it was just it.
But I think also that's like the most important part of, you can't put yourself in a box if you're looking to create art that's supposed to impact people.
Absolutely. I mean, 21 Pilots.
Come on.
What bucket is that?
They float among
They're just every
many.
bucket and they're the illest. That's what bucket they're in. So like.
And radio and everybody around it is starting to, get their together and understand.
I'm thankful for them. I'm very thankful for that band right now because like
they're setting the tone.
Exactly.
They've set a nice path.
Exactly.
There's been bands before it, but I think radio's gotten into a place where we get stagnant. We understand what works, and because there's a lot of people who work in radio who understand where the industry is going.
Yeah.
And in turn take safe bets rather than bets that can actually bring in an audience or diversify what we're actually giving to filling the platform with. If that makes any sense.
No, totally.
There's no need for any category. There's no need for any genre.
Yeah.
Popular music should never be defined.
Yeah, no. I mean, that is the rant that I wish I had gone on. Thank you for doing that.
Nobody
for me
in radio does it. I'm one of them.
No, I appreciate that because it's such a territory to walk into because I've had all these meetings where they're like, well, what is it? What bucket are we going to put it into? And I'm like, how are you going to ask me that question? I didn't have a bucket. Like, you don't have to tell SoundCloud what it is. You can put whatever you want in that box, And
they'll take it no matter what.
So I guess what it's been categorized as alternative, which fine, alternative is great because that's alternative to whatever it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like, that's an awesome category. But yeah.
Do you plan on working with any other big names? Because I know you work with like a lot of, I guess, unknowns. Is that a good way to put it?
Sure.
No name people?
No, I wouldn't call them that's okay. That's close. Not no names. They're just my friends. And like I find, I might not always work with people who have like the greatest voice of all time or be the best at whatever. But my goal is that like when I work with somebody, I want to see what they're capable of and how they feel that day. And you never know how somebody feels on a particular day. So that somebody may come into the studio and, hey, like, I feel like today, I just fired my manager and I'm super upset with him because he stole all this money from me or whatever. And I'm like, well, let's do a song about that. And I'm more so concerned with just getting raw emotion in my records than anything else. So the people I work with are just my friends and people I like hanging out with, because the second that music becomes like a factory, which it is I know a lot of viewers and listeners don't know really what that means, but the like studio system is not one that I will ever agree with. The word top line is the scariest word to me in the world, because it's like, it's a song. It's not top line in a beat. It's a song, So
Goosebumps, man. I just got them.
Oh, thank
because you
you.
hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
You really did. For you, it's more about the emotion and accessing that. I understand it completely.
I want to give people a place like my dad did, where, I say, how do you feel today? And then they say, well, I feel this way. And I'm like, well, then let's make a song about that so you feel better now,
But while you're making them feel better, you're also creating a song that is understood by universally by so many.
Absolutely.
Because, that raw emotion, that moment in their life is the same as everybody's been there and they've done it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very true. And so I have a couple of friends that I tend to work with more often than others. Like my friend Goody Grace is a very good like collaborator of mine. I found a very nice working place with him. Mark Johns is awesome. There's, but again, unknowns are people who are just getting developed are my favorite people to work with, because nobody knows what to expect from them.
Yeah.
So me and Goody are dropping a record tomorrow, which is this one that we've been playing live that is a total like Ray Sremmer direction. And this kid usually makes like country tinged folk music, you know what I mean? So it's like you can do whatever at this stage, and that's my favorite stage. Now it's almost a gift and a curse that people expect something from me like Hate You Love You, because nothing else I've ever made sounded like that record specifically, you know what I mean? Like there's been a lot of like emo-y things, but nothing like that specifically.
Does it scare you to come off I Hate You But I Love You? Because I feel genuinely that we haven't even tapped the potential of what that song can do, at least here in the States.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does that scare you coming off it, knowing that your other music is different?
No, because I think that that's a fair question, but I think that because that song worked and it was a raw emotion, I think that now it's not like people right now are waiting like, damn, I can't wait till Gnash comes out with another song that makes me cry. They're just like listeners who enjoy great music and they want another song, so I'm not too worried about it. But I think I have faith in the idea that if I keep expressing exactly how I feel, more and more people will connect with that and it'll all be good.
Beautiful. Gnash, my friend.
Thank you so much for
having me. An honor to have you here, dude.
Man.
Next time, I'm sorry.
Thanks for having me, everybody. This was so cool.
Please come back. Mikasa is Sukasa. Where are you based?
Very close to here. So
please come back, hang out. We'd love to talk more.
Okay, cool.
You're awesome, dude.
Oh, you're awesome too. Both of y'all are. Thank you guys so much for having me, and this was really cool. It's a good conversation.
Thanks for hanging.
Yeah, absolutely. That was awesome. That was like a very good conversation. It doesn't feel this is awesome.